So our final speaker in this segment is Sandra. She is a manager at Autodesk, and she flew in from Hawaii. And she's going to talk about the impact of generative AI on our purpose in work.
Thank you so much, Margot. Aloha, everyone. It's so great to be back at WIDS and to be back at Stanford. It's been nearly a decade since I took my first data visualization course here, and almost just as long since I got the chance to get involved with WIDS at the second ever conference here on campus in 2016. Oh my gosh, how far this movement has come. Like, looking out at all of you, I'm just so inspired and fueled up by the energy in this room. And I want to take a moment to just acknowledge Margot and the entire WIDS community, who is really paving the way for female talents to thrive. But I can't be in this room without just taking advantage of all the great superpowers that we have present here today. So by a show of hands, how many of you have already dipped your toes into generative AI? Given the nature of the conference, yes? I love seeing this. The second question I have is, how many of you consider yourself a creative or at the intersection of creativity and technology? Oh, I love this, my fellow creative people. Now, well, today we're going to talk about if AI is killing our creative purpose and what that means. And with that, I'm going to just talk about ideas. And how many of you think that a fully baked idea just comes out of nowhere and without any preconceived notions or any preliminary thought process? Not a lot of you, that's good, because I don't think Ada Lovelace, who you see behind me here, woke up one morning and just wrote the first ever algorithm, and also Frida Kahlo definitely didn't paint her first masterpiece the very first time she put a pencil to the canvas. And the very first sports bra didn't just fall down from the sky into Hinda and Lisa's hands. And one of my personal favorites, I'm wearing it today, Sarah Blakely, she wore pantyhose under her pants for many, many years before she developed the undergarments the way that we know them today. So what I'm trying to say is that behind every idea, or behind every design is an idea, and behind every idea, there's a purpose. And purpose is really the reason for which something is created or for which something exists. And intention becomes the plan. I like to refer to intention as our purpose sidekick. I also consider purpose as something that's at the heart of everything that we do, which is why it's not surprising that you find purpose in the center of many business models. Now, AI can help us ideate. It can help us design, but it cannot help us articulate our purpose nor set our intentions, which becomes the prompting, one of the most powerful things that we own when interacting with AI. So for fun, for this exercise, I asked OpenAI's DALL-E 3 application to generate an image of an AI doing creative work. So that's what you see here on your right-hand side. Then I prompted it to create an image of a prompt engineer, which, of course, and sadly, was male and white. So that's the middle image that you see right here. I then tweaked that prompt to draw up an image of a female prompt engineer, and this is what we got right here on the right-hand side. I wanted to push the algorithm a little bit, so I refreshed my original request for a generic prompt engineer 12 times. But as you can see, the image of the person didn't change. The gender didn't change, nor did the ethnicity, which is scary. So as you can see from this too, we hold a lot of power when prompting. And a lot of people would argue, is it our responsibility? Are we accountable for that prompting? Or is it the systems that we put our prompts into that's responsible? But for now, this is what we can control, our prompts, and that's going to help us generate much more inclusive and much better solutions for us if we keep that in mind when prompt engineering. And prompt engineering as a field is really something that people are looking to as becoming an essential skill in the workforce in the not-so-distant future. And many predict that within the next decade, every single company is going to have a full-time position that's a prompt engineer, if not full departments. So definitely something to get started with. Now I'm going to dive into a little bit of another creative sector, which is generative design. I want you to meet Project Elbow, which is a collaboration between human and machine with Autodesk software. And basically, 2 Autodesk employees inputted some information into the software. They had a couple of parameters. They wanted the chair to resemble mid-century modern Danish style. They wanted it to be 18 inches off the floor, and they wanted it to be a load bearing of 300 pounds. And the result you see behind me is actually not the final one, but these are some of the designs that were churned out. There were hundreds of designs, and it was optimizing as you went, improving the load-bearing abilities, and also creating more intricate and stronger structures. And the result was Elbow, a beautiful chair that looks perfectly original to me. Do you guys like the look of this chair? So I think that the point here is that generative design doesn't stop with furniture. There's a design application in nearly every single industry that's going to rely on AI as its creative assistant in the future, and actually already now. The future is here. Another application that is really large when it comes to generative design and generating visuals from prompting is OpenAI's DALL-E 3. There's DALL-E 2, DALL-E 3, Midjourney. Those are some of the big ones. But it's really fascinating. You can see the video playing behind me, what you can generate from just prompting. You know, these people that are prompting, they're not artists. They're not graphic designers or illustrators. They're just putting these things in. And then the system spits out these images. And I have a personal story on this one because my husband actually wrote a children's book last year. And part of that process is assigning or commissioning an illustrator to help bring, in his case, his lead character to life, Pokey the turtle. And now, you know, people like my husband, who's not a creative or an artist at all, he can just generate his lead character through generative AI, and he doesn't have to commission an artist, which is a gain for him as a non-creative, but it's a huge loss for the artist community. Another application that's making waves in generative design is Adobe Firefly. And it's generative design. Generative fill is what the tool is called within one of their products, Photoshop, which probably a lot of you are familiar with. And you can virtually dream up anything, and it can fill your image with that visual that you dream up, and with speeds that we've never seen before, which is really impressive. I've been playing around with this tool quite a bit, and it's really, really good. Not perfect, but it's getting better exponentially every day, learning from its users. But you're literally manipulating imagery into something that you just have in your head. It's not real. So on that note, we can't really talk about image manipulation without talking about the dark forces at play here. We live in an era of deep fakes and fake news, and just a lot of things are being questioned right now. And there are dark forces at play that take every opportunity to sway public opinion, whether it be in politics, in business, or in pop culture, which is really, really scary. I think it's making us question morals and ethics a lot. I think that this has the power to really drive humanity into the ground if we don't get governance right around this piece. So yeah, that's scary. Now you've seen all the evidence. AI has the potential to do incredible things for us in the creative industries, but at what opportunity cost? Is it our human purpose? Is it trust? One thing that I'm going to leave you with is that we have a choice to make. Are we going to try and beat AI, or are we going to try and join forces? Thank you so much.